What's up, fam? Hey, thank y'all for tuning in once again. And as always, be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. And when you subscribe, hit that notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be notified. Today, I want to bring a story to you guys about the lottery. Now, this may be kind of a way out the way story right about now. There's nothing really important about it, but it was brought to my attention. One of the feeds on my phone, it popped up and it said secrets that the lottery doesn't want you to know. This is from the grunge.com. And I thought it was important, especially to people in the Aboriginal Black American community, because as you probably know, if you don't play, you know at least, I'm gonna say you probably know 5 people that do play the lottery. And 5 might be exaggerated, but you know somebody that plays the lottery on a daily basis. And I guarantee that you probably know people that play the lottery that are not as financially well off as they would like to be. But that is like no coincidence. And so, like I said, I wanted to bring this story because I kind of want people to understand, get a real understanding of this lottery and what's behind it, and how it, like many financial institutions in this country, I'm not sure what goes on in the world, but in this country, they prey on the poor. You know, banks charge these overdraft fees. I remember years ago, man, I remember struggling, working at a warehouse, white kid, what have you, trying to make it. And many times I got hit with those $35 fees from Bank One checks. The day before payday, I think I was doing something slick by trying to charge, because at first, you used to be able to charge things on credit. So if I charged something on credit on Thursday, it wouldn't, by the time it went through, I got paid at midnight on Friday morning, what have you. And so by the time it goes through, I didn't get hit with an overdraft charge. But then all of a sudden they became smart. Just to let you know, these banks are rackets. They started instantly charging the credit. Anything that went through my debit card, instantly came out. So one time I had a dead battery. I got charged 3 times, 3 overdraft charges for this dead battery, because it get processed through the store, overdraft fee, come back, get processed again, overdraft fee, then went back. I got like 5 overdraft charges one time on three transactions. And I asked them, like, what the hell is going on? They tried to explain, it made no sense, so I threatened to close the account. And I believe they refunded a couple of them back to me. But it was like, man, these cats, I get paid on Friday, because I've been getting paid on Friday every week at the time. And this time, barely making no living, check to check, barely making it. But again, they prey on, they prey on the poor. Because the rich money goes to these big bankers, these big corporations. When they start these businesses, they're trying to expand businesses and they need loans. And they'll give these big people with the big money the loans. Well, they know they got the collateral to back it up, just in case something bad happens. But where do they get the money from? They get it from poor Americans that, like I said, can barely feed themselves, barely, like I said, living check to check. And it's extremely bad now because inflation is up, way up. Gas prices, shit down here is like $3.50. Some places nearly $5. Food prices are going up. Inflation is just terrible, man. Insurance is going up. Now it's time for open enrollment for insurance for jobs. So that's going up a good 4, 5, 6%. But your raise only gonna go, you're only gonna get like a 2% raise. But anyway, like I said, with that being said, I don't want to go too far off the topic. Like I said, this story talks about the lottery. Now the lottery is pretty much just Help is another aspect of just keeping people in poverty. Now, I'm going to go to Wikipedia first. And I want to read something to you. And then that way you can kind of understand, put it all in perspective. And a lot of times people say, oh, Wikipedia is not valid, but I looked up these stats on other websites and they pretty much was accurate. So I just go back to Wikipedia. So, because it's like all right here in one little box. And it says income levels vary along racial ethnic lines. 21% of all children in the United States live in poverty. About 46% of Black children and 40% of Latino children. So, of all the kids in America, let's say you got 10 kids in America. 2 of them are in poverty. And of those two, of all that's in poverty, and then we'll just kind of throw it out because you got different ethnicities. But of the many ethnicities in the country, 46% of Black children are in poverty. And 40% of Latino children. Let's stick with the Black people. So let's say you got 10 Black kids in this country. I know 10 Black kids would probably live on your street, live in your apartment complex. So 10 people that 10 kids that 44.6, damn near 5 of them of Black children are in poverty. That's nearly half. Nearly half of the Black kids, but it's a small percentage nationwide with only 21% of the kids in the United States. But in that 21% of all the Black kids, 46% are in poverty. The poverty rate is 9.9% for Black married couples, and only 30% of Black children are born to married couples. The poverty rate for native-born and naturalized whites is identical at 9.6%. On the other hand, the poverty rate for naturalized Blacks is 11.8%. That's those who come in from other countries and become citizens. Compared to 25% for native-born Blacks. Suggestion race alone does not explain income disparity. Not all minorities have low incomes. As we know, Asian families have higher incomes than all other ethnic groups, including white folk. Amazing. For example, the 2005 median income of Asian families was $68,957 to be exact, compared to the median income of white families of $59,124. So like I said, I wanted to say that about the poverty rate. That talks about children, but the poverty rate, because like I said, I want to go back to the lottery story. And it's like I said, it says secrets the lottery doesn't want you to know. This comes from the grunge.com. Got a lot of good information in here, but I wanted to really key in on the lottery preys on the poor. And it says states continue to run the lottery program because they consider it a harmless way to make money. Who doesn't want to give money to education and possibly win millions of dollars? We're going to get to the education part here too later. It said no one's forced to buy a ticket. We know that. And what's a dollar? What's the difference a dollar spent here and there really make? Yet those dollars add up when they're used in a desperate hope to get out of poverty. See, a lot of people don't have a lot of options when they're in poverty. A lot of people, everybody don't want to sell drugs, everybody don't want to rob, everybody don't want to do, prostitution. Everybody doesn't want to do immoral things. You actually got people out here that want to work, make an honest living, but everyone's looking for a break. And when you're at these jobs and you ain't making much money and you barely making it, psychologically it plays on you, man. the plays. I remember being in high school working at Minyards, and I was like on my last dollar. I was like, I think I was 18. 17, 18, whatever the youngest you can be to play the lottery. And I bought a lottery ticket. I bought a scratch off out of a machine. You know what's funny? I think I won $30. Something like that. I was broke, had no money. I mean, still living at home, but still had no money. It was my last dollar. So I said, man, you just buy a lottery ticket. And I was, like I said, a kid. Imagine being grown and having this thought. And you know what I'm saying? But I didn't live in my family's not poor. Middle class, nice neighborhood, moved up, whatever the case may be. Worked hard, degrees. Both of them had degrees, retired now, stuff like that. But again, like I said, I wasn't poor. It's just that I had no money. So I said, man, and I played the lottery and won a few dollars. Like I said, just imagine how many people have that thought process and put their last money, their last dollar on playing the lottery. So the Atlantic wrote that in 2014, the citizens of the 43 states with a lottery spent $70 billion on a lotto. That's more spent on a lottery than all other forms of entertainment. But the spending isn't distributed equally through the classes. North Carolina found the poorest counties had the highest lotto sales. Out of the 20 counties with poverty rates higher than 20%, 18 had lottery sales, topping the statewide average of $200 per adult. $200. So that means people are spending on average $200 a year, which, and that seems like a lot, but when you add it up and you're talking about $70 billion, that's a lot. And if it's the average of $200 per adult, that's the poor and the rich alike giving up $200. These people, if they really do their finances and check, do an account of finances, really don't have $200 to play on a lottery. You know what you can put $200 on a year and get an investment? I'll explain that later. Those with the least amount of money to spend are happily handing it over to the government to get an incredibly unlikely chance to change their lives. The government isn't completely innocent in giving poor people this dream. The lottery was more actively advertised in poor communities to get their hopes up for the big win. Now you think about what's advertised in poor black communities. The lottery. You'll see big signs, billboards, signs up and down the street, big signs on the store. Don't see that much in other neighborhoods like that. I don't. Most stores I go to, if you look up to the lottery table, most of the time it's always black people playing lottery. Just hoping they can get that, hoping they can get that win, hoping they can get that Powerball jackpot, and be set for life. Spending $10, $20, at a time, buying these tickets, and most of the time they don't win money. Now, a lot of times you got people. I seen one guy win a lottery, a few $100s, and he cashed out this little grocery store in this little country town not too far from me. And he was cashing out, and I'm like, man, dude, won like a few $100s. But the thing is, wonder how many tickets he's bought over his lifetime. It's kind of like gambling, like going to the casino. Going to the casino, you play, you lose, and you win this $1,000 jackpot. Oh man, I won big, $1,000, but hell, how many times you been to the casino and lost that money? It says the most popular scratch-offs have the worst returns. And it say people don't just get hooked on a regular pick your numbers lottery. Scratch-offs are a huge business. Sometimes customers assume that since the payouts are much smaller, the chances of winning are better. But no, all lottery chances are horrible. In New York, the scratch-off with the best payoff gives 88 cents per dollar. This $30 win $1 million a year for life ticket is so good you'll only lose $3.60 every time you play. That's still a lot better than the lucky tripler, a not so lucky dollar scratch off that pays out only 59 cents on the dollar. Most of the scratch offs in the $1 to $10 range pay off around 60 cents per dollar, making them truly horrible investment ideas. Truly horrible investment ideas. Plus, you get all that weird silver junk in there. Okay, so 61 cents on the dollar means that basically what you're doing is if you go to the store and give the attendant $1, the cashier $1, just for no reason at all, just hand them $1. It's gonna hand you 61 cents back, and then you walk out the store. You ain't buy nothing. You walk out the store with nothing. Man, they give you no advice. You just handed a man $1 and they gave you 61 cents and said thank you. That's what they're saying about the payoff, basically, and it's a bad investment. And can you imagine? So that's 61 cents per dollar, and you giving up $200. What is that? That's like so 61 cents, $200. 61 times 200. That's basically you handing over $122 just for the hell of it, with no return at all. Like I say, it's a bad investment advice. You know what you can do with $200 a year? You can buy yourself a life insurance policy for at least for your kids or the youngsters that, especially if you live in the hood and your kids out there on them streets doing street things, get a term life insurance policy. I mean, the odds are, I ain't gonna say the odds are, but if you unfortunately get the cash in, you can win a few $100,000. That's kind of terrible, ain't it? But shit, it's better than playing the lottery for no reason. And it says the convenience stores rely on lottery sales. Like I say, every time you go to a lottery, every time you go to the store, you look at the lottery table, I always see, Aboriginal Black Americans playing. Here, lotto ticket sales rise as unemployment rates rise. Now that is what's disturbing. That's real disturbing that I want to talk about. It says if convenience store sales are tied so closely to the lotto, they must suffer pretty badly during a recession. Nope. Because lotto sales typically go up as the unemployment rate rises again. Say in Chicago and Indiana, lotto ticket sales were highest in the country with the lowest employment rates. As the worst of our most recent recession in 2008, 22 of the 42 states lotteries had record sales during that recession in 2008. Huge sales are made from capitalizing on people's desperate fears for their financial future. With state slogans such as all it takes is $1 and a dream, states are preying on hope. Looking at historical data, it is fair that there has been a trend of lottery ticket sales moving in tandem with economic conditions. The very likely explanation is that when people are feeling desperate, they are more likely to stop by the gas station and buy 5 lottery tickets, hoping they'll get a big windfall again. When you got people out here like robbing, deciding to, like I say, enter prostitution, decide to like rob banks, sell drugs, or what have you, or hell, even start becoming alcoholics or drug addicts, it's because psychologically they're at the end and they feel like there's no other way to survive, to make it. So they do things like go buy lottery tickets. And it's sad. It really is. Because a lot of our people, a lot of times it be older people too, man. That's another sad thing. Can barely see guys barely walk around and they go into these stores and they scratching off. Now, am I gonna say lottery is bad? Yeah, I'm gonna say lottery is bad. Lottery is terrible, man. It really is. Like I say, prey on the poor. And that's what they do. They expect poor people to put their hard-earned money down to buy lottery tickets, and as many money goes into the government, and it keeps the rich rich. Another thing this article says, it takes tax money away from education. Let's see. The California Lotto alone raised $1.3 billion and gave $97 million to the Los Angeles Unified School District for the 2014-2015 school year. right? Sounds great. I mean, 1.3 billion and 97 million. Not a whole lot comparatively. Because they try to say the lottery money goes towards schools. I mean, that's a small percentage, right? A very small percentage of the money. Though many states say they are giving the lottery money to specific causes like education or environmental protection, the money often goes into a general state fund. It's how, pay attention, it's how politics works. From there, the money can be used for anything, and the lottery's pet causes may see no effect from the millions of dollars, but some states do make sure that the lotto is specifically allocated for their cause, right? Oh, that sounds good too, right? But hold on. Unfortunately, that means legislators can factor all that sweet lottery cash into the budget and start giving out fewer government funds. In the end, education spending stays exactly the same, or it gets worse. According to Patrick Pierce, political scientist, given a few years, a state will have spent more on education without a lottery. In 2015, California received a C grade for its schools and educational weekly study and placed 41st in the country in the category of having conditions that help children succeed. So even if everything else is bad about it, at least the lottery gives a new lease on life to the few lucky ones that defy the odds and win millions. Except people who've been poor all their life usually don't do well with sudden fortune. That's another thing about financial literacy, understanding money. That's a whole different subject. And like I say, I'll leave a link in the description box below so you can read this article yourself. But my thing is, like I said, the schools, they holler that they give money to the schools. I haven't seen not one school in South Dallas look like schools in Allen, Texas, or Plano, Texas. Haven't seen one school in West Dallas, Oak Cliff, look like these schools in McKinney, Grapevine, Midlothian. Haven't seen it. And South Dallas, the Grove, West Dallas, what have you, have a lot, even north side of Dallas, have a lot of poverty. And so which means a lot of people are playing the lottery. And these schools are not benefited. I don't see the roads looking better. I don't even see infrastructure looking better. When I do see infrastructure looking better, it's with gentrification, when they're moving the Black Aboriginal Americans out of these neighborhoods. But lottery-wise, I don't see any money with this lottery going to making neighborhoods better. Matter of fact, like this article said, it's keeping our people in poverty, which means that we have to find a way to reallocate this money that they're spending. And like I said, one way to do it, $200 a year, you can buy a term life insurance policy. Now, whole life is a little better. It's a little more expensive, but it goes throughout the life and then through the entire life, and then the person dies or whoever dies, you get the payout, get a nice big payout. But that's part of it. Or you can use the $200 and make like small investments. The thing about $200 is no. The rate of return on any investment on $200 will not be astronomical. Matter of fact, let's say you put $200 in an investment account, like an IRA account or what have you, and you get like 10%, a return on investment. What's that? $20? $20 a year. So it'd be $220, and then the next year is what, $440, $460, something like that. But I mean, it'll grow, but not quickly, not $200. So you can see why people have no problem paying $1 here, a few dollars here, a few dollars there for lottery tickets, because they're not like they're putting $200, the entire $200 on a lottery. All at once. They're spreading it out throughout the year. So it don't look as bad. But just think about, you use that $200, or you add the money you spend going to McDonald's that are taking away these STEM jobs. $200, as a matter of fact, you can probably go on Coursera and sign up for a few classes, because a lot of times they have deals where you can get these Get something like 70 something, 80, like a bunch of classes for like pennies on a dollar for what the course was when it first started. But you can take that money and, like I say, sign up for a STEM class and get a certification in STEM skills. So you can begin to make positive changes in your life, so that a few months or a few years down the line, you got these STEM certifications of where you can get jobs in this automated world that we're going into. But this lottery, it's not going to get you rich. You win $300 on a scratch-off ticket and think you've made it, but yet you spend that much on lottery tickets every year for the lottery been in Texas for at least the 90s. So about 30 years, you spent $300. Think about this. Somebody will spend $200 over the last 30 years on lottery tickets. That is $6,000. May not seem like a lot, but again, if you put $200 in somewhere and invest it with a 10% of return, $6,000, and the interest is compounded, $6,000 could be in the high 2 digits, and then as it fluctuates, so you quite possibly could, like I said, you could quite possibly sit on 50,000, a little more. You can have, but that's over 30 years. But if you add a little more from, like I say, not going out to eat, putting, not, cutting a cigarette habit, if you have one, or a drinking habit, and using that money to invest. So over 30 years, you can have 6 figures. Hell, maybe even, if you can't use that money, you can pass that money down and invest, let someone else in your family invest that money. And it can grow to, to $1 million easy after that. But you got to get started somewhere. Like I said, I just wanted to talk about this lottery because I just wanted to bring awareness to the poverty problems in our community and one of the reasons behind it. And let you know that, like I said, the lottery is nowhere to make money. It's really nowhere to spend money. Actually, you shouldn't even be spending money because it's not helping our community. If it's not helping our community, man, it's nothing we should be a part of. But anyway, that's all I got with this story. Tell me what you think about this lottery that everybody plays and thinking they're gonna get rich off of it, and nobody really got rich off of it. I don't know if I got rich off no lottery. Leave your comments below. If you want to support the channel, go to the description box. Hit the website, purchase some merchandise and help the channel. If you want to start a YouTube channel, hit that TubeBuddy link. It's a great way to start a channel and show you'll see the hot topics, the recent hot topics that are out there. It'll give you great tags and keywords to use to put in your videos to increase viewership, which in turn will increase subscriptions. And that's what this is all about. So you can put that great content. But with that being said, I leave y'all the same way I came. That's a peace.